Clap, tight, slap, shrink, wrap, slit, skin, scrap, slink, stick, kick, strike, like, dot, got, not, what, cut, French. Not many, Benny. Cheeky, yeah, right and all. A balladeer, you want, you saucy git. Cat, got, clack, clack, clacked a postcard smile. Dejected, I sauntered down the boulevard of shame. Looking for Christ only knows what. I tripped and cracked my cranium upon a disco doorway, and then what Adam and Dad and that since the year dot. A dusky foreign chick of Lord knows what persuasion was grinding down the microphone, heating up the collars of a mainly Caucasian, mainly drunken, mainly manly clientele. Mid-trip clear! Look at the Harris on that. I was gobsmacked. I lost the feeling in my knees. All my joints deserted me on the Rue Saint-Denis. She had the club menagerie on the palm of her hand as she licked a snake, blew a kiss, did a slammer and purred and winked and growled and shared her body and heart and soul with the crowd. Licked a snake again and don't ask me why. But when she started to sing, I started to cry. She hit the deck, craned her neck and went about her business and left me in a state of 100% dizziness. She sang Imagine You and Me, bollocked naked in the sea, all in the boudoir of my flat in Paris, covered in goose fat in a bathtub of couscous, eating beurre mignon of my Harris. I was in love. I couldn't catch my breath. It's probably the closest that I've ever come to death. My mouth went dry, my heart was going mental. I've experienced nothing like it since the premiere of Gentle. Big trip here! Look at the airs on that. That's the end of that one. These are quite new ones, so I've written them down as well. This one's called Space Test, Dust Monitor. And it's about mental people like you really hate coming up to you and breaking your buzz. I've got another one about that later on. This is called Space for Dust Monitor. I don't know you, but you're walking towards me and something tells me you're really mental. You're going to come badger me and scream mental things at me and everything you say will be absolutely mental. Why do I endure this nightly head and heartache? I could ignore and claim ignorance for Christ's sake. I must be mental just like you to suffer week in, week out. I must be radio just like you. Oh God, I'm mental, let me out. I'm a radio magnet, they stick to me like glue. I'll bet you I attract more mental people than you. This one's called Monumental Buzzbreaker. Same sort of thing. When you're in a little club, eat off your bollocks, having an excellent time. A geezer that you really hate comes towards you and you think, fuck no, not that cunt, not that cunt. And he comes over and he talks to you for 5 minutes and he breaks your buzz. He steals your buzz. He nicks your buzz. He's up there like a real fucking mouse. He's coming towards you, you're thinking, fucking hell man, I don't want any of this. And he comes up to you, talks to you for 5 minutes, he takes your buzz away from you, he leaves with your buzz, and you're left a fucking sorry toe rag, slumped in the corner. He's fucked your eye up. This one's called Monumental Buzzbreaker. You stole my buzz. You sucked it out of me. You left me a rattling shell battling to save the ground left inside. You'd overlooked I had tucked a little bit aside. Turning the screw anti-clockwise, creating a vacuum where my buzz lies, in limbo, in a little hostile room, alive on the drip, stored and refrigerated to be thawed and later segregated, tapped into, tapped off, on tap at the drop of a cough. You're not so stupid. Please believe me, oh yeah! And fuck right off. You sneak an hour here and an hour there. You got days and days of my prime buzz, Lowe. I would never dream of sneaking your buzz out of you. You're keeping my buzz in an airtight safe house, ready for the day you need charisma. A wedding or reunion or the warming of some melts house or your boss's barbecue in Risborough. You stole my buzz at the source. Have you an ulterior motive? Are you selling it under the counter? I mean, fucking hell, what gives? You were a sorry toe rag and I was on a buzz. Then I was a sorry toe rag and you was on a buzz. You swept the buzz from under my feet and benefited from it. Got girls and a comfortable suite, whilst cross-legged I did sit. When I leave the room whilst you're not looking, you can sense my buzz is following one step behind. You have magnetic sensory tentacles, so that if my buzz should stray, your negative stringy feelers will inevitably find. Thank you. This one's called Hippy. It's very short. I've got a silver hippie hanging on a silver chain, hanging round my neck, and the silver hippie's name is Jesus. And he's incapable of loving me as the next silver hippie. Happy hippie, hippie, happy, happy hippie, yeah, me too, hippie! Yes! This one's called Pretty Vibe. You're going to like this. She waits till I'm asleep before she shakes and wakes me and asks impossible questions to which I have no answer. She's in a good mood, but not with yours truly. She's been on the blower for over an hour with a childhood mock-on at Julie. I've done this one before. No.
Okay, do it again.
She's glancing at me sideways, throwing up my way, scratching her head and chewing her nails. If she had her way, she'd have me drawn and quartered and staked out for the Ravens on the Yorkshire Dales. What could roses do but to wilt in your arms? Far more surreal than any scene from Wild Palms. I feel about it as welcome as a pork chop on the Sabbath, as nervous as a thespian who tripped over the M-word, as well received as the premiere of Dirty Weekend, lower than a child molester's steaming a turd. There you go. This one's called Pain. Pain is a pain in the neck. Pain smells like germaline and daffodils. Pain is facing somebody you hate that thinks the world of you, even for a minute, in a garden fake taking pills. Pain moves from side to side to side, like a little ghost crab creaking about a floater. Pain is a shame, the rain and the cane are waiting for the northern underground train. Watching your loved ones going insane, or even worse, sane. Has pain ever been in pain? Has it ever been a victim like you and me? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Something along the lines of electricity, allegedly. Pain is a pleasure to behold in the face of an enemy. Pleasure is a pain to behold in the face of an enemy. Rain falls mainly on the pain. Crumbling head, abort, abort, abort. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What's the colour of pain? Physical, rusty red, heart-shaped charcoal grey? Mental, fuzzy, felty green? Well, it is for me, anyway. He was there, and then he wasn't there. A kind of limey guardian angel. Who was that English thespian with the chromium hair and gun? Like a latter-day Henry, he struck aside our enemies and took on Little Italy and Harlem single-handedly, balanced the scales of justice, favourably on our side. The equaliser, Robert McCall, straight of back, stiff of leg, give him a call. If your son is smoking crack, or your daughter's in a child porn ring and he'll get back! And he won't charge you anything. He will stare his dame led into certain danger, cool as a breeze, and bellow to a big dark stranger, the gong please. Shakespearean vigilante, bodyguard bard of Alphabet City, the minister of sinister, devil's kitchen's understudy. Larry, Lovey, Edward, Woodward, Jacoby, and Sir John Gielgud digs deep into his Peter toolbox just like any half-good actor would. How would Sir John Gielgud tackle that oozy toting hood? A lash of the tongue would be enough to suffice. Deliver the stony gaze through 2 blocks of ice. What are you, men? Or mice? I'll crush you like a cockroach because you're not very nice. How did Callum end up fighting crime in New York City? The sexiest man stateside, Christ! It's pure Walter Mitty, the equalizer, Robert McCall. Straighten back, stiff of leg, give him a call. If your son is smoking crack, or your daughter's in a child porn ring, then he'll get back, and he won't charge you anything. Thank you, 2 times. I'm going to need a little bit of audience participation with this one. When I go sneaky geezers, you've got to shout, sneaky geezers!
Sneaky geezers!
Okay, I'll try it once. Sneaky geezers!
Sneaky geezers!
It's louder than that, you wank. It's got sneaky geezers!
Sneaky geezers!
Perfect. This one's about a couple of nonce cases I saw on TV. I got a bit sneaky. A sneaky vocabulary. You got a bit more sneaky than that. What? Haven't heard it yet? We tiptoe through suburbia. We keep unsociable hours. Shifty and misty, bifocal, dirty Burberry men. We're after something. Sneaking through the avenue, sneaking down the canal, under bridges and in the pictures, me and me sneaky pal. That's me. Waiting for prey, just like a cray, a fish in a hole in the sea. Paving the way with only a J, cut off as a form of ID. We're the sneaky geezers. Sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
We're the sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
We ride your way tonight. We haven't been so excited for a couple of weeks. We're salivating and ventilating, bit like Leon B. Come out to play, sweeties as play, rent in exchange for favours. A couple of Ribena in our cortina. Nonsense. We're the sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
The sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
We're the sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
We ride your way tonight. We don't like rules, only 43. We don't like rules, only 43. We don't like rules, only 43. Rule 43. But be waiting for prey, just like a cray, or a fish in a hole in the sea. Paving the way with only a J, cut off as a form of ID. We're the sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
Sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
And we're the sneaky geezers.
Sneaky geezers!
We ran your way tonight. We had them kids by the shoulder and curlies. We was bribing them with curly whirlies.
Thank you.
This one's called Gangster. A small-time gangster. Have a cigarette? Yeah. I need a cigarette for this one. His head's in all back bits of the long Good Friday. Does a blinding version of I Did It My Way. Drives a 64 Mark II 3.4. I'm sure you've seen his face 1,000 times or more before. He is a gangster. He's a gangster. There's one on every street. The bloke with the coke and the locals at his feet. A gangster. His old man knew the craze, and Ronnie sends him Christmas cards. Or so you say. Made page 3 of a certain daily paper. Caught a lot of flack for that little caper. Somebody blabbered, but there ain't no flies on me. Just 15 Mars boys where they used to be. He's a gangster. Local anti-hero, a Duke of Lager top, our junior QA unit, a nifty fella lot. I'll tell you what, I'll bung the talking telly for your son, pull a string out of his back and he says, you be damned, he's a gangster. He's a gangster, always has been. Spent a lot of time indoors, courtesy of the Queen. A gangster. He does his ups and downs. He gets depressed just like the rest. The best friend I ever found was a gangster. You can applaud, man. I'm going to do this little one. I'm going to do 2 more. This one's called Windmill. And if anyone sort of attacks me, how many people, whatever, I'll do a thing called the Dirtbox Windmill, which goes something like this. Something like that.
Take time.
I'm not in no hurry. There was 3 of them, taking a piss. I kept me cool, beat them at pool, and then I had to think quick. It wasn't my manner, it was right out in the sticks. And don't ask me what happened, something just clicked, and I did a windmill. I did a windmill, and they fell in a rain of punches. I did a windmill, and they fell in a rain of punches. I windmilled the fat one first, and he went down like fat ones do. Then I windmilled the big one, and he went down quite quickly too. I windmilled the thin one, but he put up a bit of a fight, so I windmilled a bit harder and put up Mr. Skinny's lights. Fists and Martins scraping on the ceiling. Untold tattooed bodies reeling and keeling over. 15 miles outside Dover. It was over in a flash and executed with panache, and dare I say a dash a dash. Clatter! Couple of spots on the knuckles, but not mine. All mine was on the inside. And it should be on the inside. And whilst on the outside I could have died laughing, I did a windmill, and they fell in a rain of punches. I did a windmill, and they brought up all the lunches. What a top day, eh? Me 10, Mux FA. I'll do this very short one, and then I'll end with an excellent one as well. This one's called Be Quiet. It could or could not be about my girlfriend, I don't know. You man, she talks a lot. I mean, she talks a lot. When I go, she talks to me until I go out. Go, Josie, go. The wild wind is whistling your name. The women folk are screaming. It's on your shoulders, probably. They could be little big all over again. Whatever brought on this wild western imbalance, how do you think he got so far removed? Spaghetti Welshman, who's convinced he's Jack Palance, and when the lady's present, never rude. But when his head is the pillow, he's back in the arrow. He's Billy the Kid. I know. He lost the block and the got Jumbo a long time ago, and I said, go, Josie, go. The wild wind is whistling your name. The wind from the screaming, it's on your shoulders, pilgrim. It could be little big all over again. Everybody seems to think he needs a woman's touch, but I don't believe that to be the case. He's a loner, a lone ranger in his eyes, and a gallop on his arms and cause a loss of face. He's a man with a plan. It involves the local council. That's all I can reveal at that stage. Have 5 fingers of Tizer loosened his tongue, and he blurted wounded Rumney in a drunken rage. He said, go, Josie, go. The singer's on the institute, the wild wind is whistling your name. The women folk are screaming, it's on your shoulders, pilgrim. It could be little big all over again. Go, Josie, go! Josie, go! Go to bed, Josie, and go to life, Oh, someone's trying to get in contact with me through your dreams, 'cause I heard you talking in your sleep. I know someone's trying to get in contact with me through your dream, cause I heard you talking in your sleep. I know someone's trying to get in contact with me through your dreams, cause I heard you talking in your sleep. Do you think I'm going insane? Thank you and good night.
Yeah.
Packets. Packets. Goddamn packets. Excuse me, Trooper. Would you be needing any packets today? Yup, man, don't be putting on my jacket, okay? Cool. Just trying to get your attention so you can take a look at this invention. Now take this. I got some more of my jacket. What are they, condoms? Sex packets. It's like a pill. You can either chew it up or like an Alka-Seltzer. Just offer it in a cup. And get this, see the girl on the cover? You black out. She becomes your lover. You're tripping. I'm serious. These are authentic. I don't take hallucinogenics. Wrong again, my man. These are way more real. But since you don't really think, I'll make someone else a deal. Yeah, he's the packet man. Now you got me curious. You know, I'm thinking about buying some $3 for $10. I can't pay to try them. So what exactly do I get? Well, read what it says. Look at the packet. Look at the packet. But it says Chinese girl, age 17, hips 33, weight 23. Man, this one here says young black virgin. This is crazy. I'm gonna have to splurge in and get me a few of these things. How long do they last? Well, that depends. Let's see. These cheap ones here, 10 minutes. These are extra power. They last about half an hour. And these two here are 40, because you get two girls. Yes, that's orgy, right? And if you're married, it's no big deal. You're not cheating at all. You're just popping a pill. And if your wife's got a headache and she wants it in the sack, that's cool. Take a packet full, biochemically selected sexual affection. Now here, take a look at my selection. Yeah, he's the packet man. Okay, I'll take these two packed for $3 and give me Blondie here and the one that says orgy. And by the way, I need something for the woman. Sure, I got guy packets. Cool, give me some of them. Let me tell you how you take them. You should sit or lie down and you really should be naked. Otherwise, you're going to mess up your clothes, you know what I mean? This is more than just a dream. It's very realistic and it's going to blow your mind. So be careful. Only take one at a time and never take one behind the wheel. You black out and you're post. Cool, let's make a deal. These are 20, these are 40. And around $100, we'll call it even. Don't get your money out yet, see? There's one or two knocks from this neighborhood that's sweating me. Over here. Yeah, this is kind of cool. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Ooh, just be careful. You got to be as safe as you can. There's only one thing safer than using your hand, dial bleeping number, and call it packet man. You've been wonderful. Thank you very much.
Come on! And he tells people Sir Gideon Vein was my teacher. I'm so ashamed. He was so passionate then. What's happened to him? He phoned me the other day and said, "Look, Sir Gideon, I think I can wangle it. I can get you a part on EastEnders." Me? What kind of part would I play on EastEnders? The Guilty Idiot? How dare you? Do you remember Dennis Price, another one of my idols, Dennis Price, the only actor who admitted he was homosexual in the film Suspect? None of the others were. Oh no, Ducky. Oh no, not at all. Only Dennis Price. What I say to you is, why is it that Sir John Gielgud can cottage and get away with it? Yes. You all know what cottaging is, don't you? Oh, don't actually. No. You go to the toilet and there's a hole drilled in the cubicle and somebody puts his penis through it. And then you can suck it if you like the look of it. And you don't know what's on the end of it, do you? I mean, it's extremely unlikely that it's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger on the end of it. But you can always use your imagination, can't you? Sir John did it, and he got away with it. He was naughty boy. They named the theatre after him. But when my mate, a great actor, much better than Sir John Gielgud, I'm of course talking about Peter Wyngard, when Peter Wyngard did it. The man who led me. I mean, everybody knows about Peter Wyngard. I could tell you who his lover was, but I can't trouble and all that kind of business. I don't want any more lawsuits. I've had enough. One big bloke in a pub said, "That Peter Wyngard, he's a bleeding poof. I'll tell you who's a real man. That so-and-so was in that film." And I said, "That's his lover, you fool." And next you've been telling me that Harry Andrews was fucking bent as well. Harry Andrews? There's a real man for you. Well, when I met him when I was 17 and we were both wearing purple velvet crossed caps. Come on, dear boy, grow up or dare the weak is it. Peter Wyngard in 1971 was voted the man most Australian women would like to lose their virginity to. Such a joke, really, darlings. But that year, the poor man was done for cottaging, tried to buy the police off, but they wouldn't have it. Oh no, we're going to do you, Wyngard, let everyone know what you're really like. The poor man's career was in shreds. Why is it all right for Sir John, but not Peter? A much better actor, almost as good as myself. Almost, but not quite. But I don't envy talent. It's so rare that you see talent these days. If only I could see a little more. I assure you, when I see talent on the stage, I am the first to clap loudly and vociferously. Now, a touch of Francais. Please give a nice, warm round of applause for Silent. Where is he? He's just gone to the toilet! He's just gone to the toilet! I just introduced the man and he's gone to the toilet! It doesn't matter. I'm a spontaneous performer. I'm not going to get worried. I don't need a script. Would you believe it? Once a man came to me. English was a second language to him, like Saeed. And he said to me, I want to be an actor. And I said, well, you don't have much presence, do you? What would you do if you came home after a hard day's work and you really hated it, and you found me in the house? I've just murdered your mother, and I'm raping your wife. What would you do? And he looked at me and he said, I would say, you bastard. That's all you would say. No passion. You wouldn't say, I'm gonna fucking kill you. You wouldn't say that. You'd just say, I'm not a violent man. I could not believe it. And when I wrote him apart, he went to the toilet. Saeed, are you here? Are you with us? Is Saeed here? Is he here? Saeed, yes. To the stage, Saeed, yes. He's very good. One of my favorites. Saeed.
En vérité, je ne vous apprendrai jamais ce qu'est la véritable malheur. Et donc, no pitié pour ma damnation, et saluons Satan et le bon Dieu. Au silence élevé, les bruits sont à l'écrit et l'horloge est tranquille. Ce siècle a saigné l'enfer. Je les tue dans le chaos et ses rires de poussière. Dieu en joignant ses mains. J'enseignite de ce siècle appris sur vos prières. I ought to have a hell for my anger, a hell for my pride, a hell for caresses, a real concert of hells. My immortal soul, keep you, boy, despite the lonely night and the day of fire. I accustomate myself to pure hallucination. I saw very clearly a mosque instead of a factory, a drummer's school consisting of angels, coaches on the roads of the sky. A drawing room at the bottom on the like monsters, mysteries, a musical title could raise us up the terrors in front of me. Then I explained my magic sophism by means of the hallucination of words. I consignate to the devil the palms of martyrs, the glories of art, the pride of inventors, the frenzy of looters. I return to the east and to original and eternal wisdom. It seems to be a dream of gross lasciness. Dankeschön. To whom shall I hear myself? Which beast must be worshipped? What holy image I take it? Whose hearts shall I break? What lie must I uphold? In what blood shall I wait? So let's go back to Paris. Jésus-Christ, je ne regrette pas le temps de la richesse et du public, les chariots de débauche et ma douce folie. Infernale confidence. Je ne sais plus prier, plus parler. À vite, offrez-moi vos crimes, que je meure dans l'abîme. Je suis maître en destruction. J'ai avalé toutes les cruautés du monde et mon choix pour l'enfer. Satan est ignoble, assez. La vérité s'est arrêtée. L'erreur n'est plus mon ennui. Yes, cheese. Let's go to West Germany, East and West Berlin. Ich bin ein Berliner. Encore plus intense. Cabaret putain sur les trottoirs de Berlin. Une culture clashée d'une Allemagne fatiguée. Et ma mignonne s'agite d'une peinture si ardente. Militaire au revoir de l'Est poivré, pas le regard des deuils affaissés. Dansez maintenant, sachant nous aimer. Je suis destin éphémère, une folie inventée, une ombre de la rue sous l'orage des blessures. Une vie tourmentée va chercher à l'aimer. Ces drames sombres et j'y pense étranges. Cristal et démons d'une mort illustrée. De chiffres et de flammes qu'on entend aux douceurs. Une ancienne comédie sur le pavé de Paris. Des riches et des pauvres. De ce monde, de ce putain de poison. Tu verras, quand tu te réveilleras, tu seras roi, bercé par des mers de lumière, clochard, soyons juste au soleil, savons, buvons au soleil. Et le rouge démon, à l'hiver prolongé, périt à présent, quelque part en audience. De toute descendance au Satan des barbares, de juifs et d'arabes, de noirs arrachés, du soleil ricanant, des sommeils tourmentés, que le rêve fraîchit, des sommeils tourmentés, et à l'aurore de Pékin, que ce vin ardent ira divertir un peu de mes pensées. C'est le bas des vampires, ricanement et violent, dansez et riez, buvez mon sang, buvez l'orage, le diable est aimable, paladin et loup, pantin et corbeau, et le noir sifflement mugit du ciel, de squelettes qui défilent au chant des ossements. Nous sommes tous des putains, sales et pédés, une orgueil plurielle d'une misérable peste, une blessure de janvier d'un hiver glorifié. Paris, Londres, Berlin, tas de chiens, je vous réclame pour mes nuits, ma soif et ma prochaine faiblesse. Pourri sifflotant du mort sans pleurs, songez indigne, il soit Satan, porteuse de rage, de fer et de débris. Soyons fous un instant, buvons la honte, luxe et l'audace, à plus dur. On me dit anarchiste, une ombre de la rue, un kabyle à Paris, un sauvage. Mes amis, un retour aux enfers de vice-progrès, qu'on roule les silences d'une bête saignante. Et moi, j'irai bien vendre mon âme au diable. Suis-je un traître, l'homme gêneur, une bête sans effort? Marie chérie, l'enfer est une étrange optique à respecter. Débaucherie, soif de sauvage. J'ai embrassé le chaos et glorifié le poison. Vertige et démons s'y soient dans ma veine. Évapore déjà la bête asservie. Et toi, entends-tu le chaos qui ruisselle comme ce souffle gueulant et comme la jeunesse coiffée du soir faux? One more. Horreur à la perfection, les rois, les juges et la morale. Je me suis assez trempé dans l'erreur, les dangers et la pue tellement fine. Satan me corona de vices et paresse, de mensonges et colère. Je te le dis, je suis infâme, une race inférieure. Guten Abend.
La vie est une couloir de puissance et de désespoir. Et vos chefs that when Laval looked at the audience and uttered those words, he chilled the audience's bones to the very marrow. You must understand, I knew him. He was the leading Grand Guild player in all of Paris in 1898. It was he that tortured Maxa on stage every night. I met Maxa in 1911, and she could never ever speak above a guttural whisper. 20 years of screaming on stage had reduced her vocal cords to nothing beyond shreds. All she could say was, "How are you? I have heard much about you." Her English was excellent. She was still a beautiful woman. But that voice, could you imagine 20 years of that's love perpetrated on her beautiful body. All forms of torture, acid, knives, rape. Lowe was an ugly brute, both on stage and off. It's so rare that I myself had been chilled. I paid him a compliment. I was a comparatively young man in 1901. I said, "You know, Lowe, you're really quite good." And he said, "Good, monsieur? Good? You think I am good? Tell me, who is better than me?" So I said, "Well, Mune Suri does spring to mind." Mune Suri. Mune Suri. Ask a schoolboy in the street about Mune Suri, and he will declare to you the pompous measured Alexandrines of Cornier, Molière. They are nothing compared to me, because I tell you, monsieur, no man can do what I can do. God, but that fellow was vain. I learned just a little from him. Please give a nice warm round of applause for the next act. Mortimer, are you here? Mortimer, yes, Mortimer.
My name's Mortimer. He scares me to death. I sell old clothes on the market. When we started 10 years ago, it was all button-down collars and little moddy suits, sort of early 60s stuff.
What's wrong with that?
Nowadays I notice people staggering past on platform heels. Wonder how any woman staggered through the 70s. We sell little suede miniskirts, things with impossible long collars, so I feel the fashion climate at least is right for this tale of hippie times. Excuse me, I'm not very good with microphones. It's called Adam and Eve in Notting Hill Gate. Adam and Eve lived in Notting Hill Gate. When they walked out, they lit the street. People smiled when they passed by. Feels so good, Lord. You know why? Because they are in love. They have the look of animals, gorgeously groomed, yet still wild and still free. They look so out in front of it all. In front of the summer of 73. Light streams down when they pass my door. Life seems to reach them a moment before it gets to people like me. With the sun on their damn shoulders and their jeans flared at the knee. They look like love's young dream, the dream of this summer of 73. a dream they're living for people like me. You have to live in an altered state to see the garden in Notting Hill Gate. But when Eve and Adam are passing through, the pavements sparkle with morning dew, and these tired, stained streets create themselves anew under the lens of love. Adam wants Eve to be his wife. Adam wants Eve for his trouble and strife. He wants her hair on the pillow. He wants her there spread on the bed. He wants lots of kids. He wants lots of things. And he wants it to be for life. Look at the ass on her, Adam said. Have you ever seen tits like that? Adam wants Eve to be his wife. He wants her at his side for the whole of the rest of his life. Easy, baby, Eve replied. Please, don't pressurize me. Let's just take it as it comes. Let's just wait and see. So she found them a nest in a sweet little mews. It belonged to a dealer he once knew. And it was there she offered him the apple. Now, Adam had been around and he'd seen a thing or two, and he certainly knew what the needle could do. So he noticed the worm in the apple all right, and he took it with a kind of glee. He accepted with a gleam in his eye. With Eve at his side, he felt immune. With Eve on his arm, he could walk on the moon. Didn't they own the stars in the sky? Eve was the apple of his eye. You know she'd always be around. Stevie Wonder sang for them. You are the sunshine of my life. You know you'll always be around. They lay on the rug and fucked forever to the pages of Talking Brook. You know that this is the beginning. They lay curled on the rug like spoons. When the love of your life only lasts a month, it certainly is a pity. But those few weeks were just enough for the city. Yeah. That's a bit more. I'm down the Sunshine Cafe at the back end of the gate, where Eve was feeding Adam sunlight off her plate not so very long ago. I'm wondering where they've got to now, and I'm afraid I think I know. They chose a dream that just can't last. There's no way to make that drug thing stay, unless of course you go for broke. There's been a lot of that, you know, since Jimmy stepped off the planet a couple of years ago. He made it seem like the thing to do when the crosstown traffic gets through to you. Like Speedy Gilbert, who lived with me, got a factory tin of Dexedrine and imploded under the strain. We never expected his heart to go. We thought it would be his brain. And sexy, cock-teasing Christine, who drank and had ECT. She lay down with a bunch of sleepers one day in the garage behind our flat. I expect everyone here knows of someone who went and did something like that. What's that line of Neil Young? Every junkie's like a setting sun. I've seen the needle and the damage done. A little part of it in everyone. My, oh my. Why, oh why? What is this silly romantic idea that death is so attractive when life burns bright and clear? I feel I ought to find them, but I think they're gone from here. The woman in the laundrette is asking where they are, and the grocer on the corner hasn't seen them there. Have you seen them? Anybody? Have you seen them anywhere? I said, fancy shoes, what's the news up your end of the street? He said, I ain't heard nothing to repeat. I said, golly man, before you go,
Tell us what you know. A little birdie told me they used to score from you, that you were there, you and Claire, so tell us what you know. He said, man, I'll tell you something. They've taken to the air. Ask the pigeons in the windows. They like it better there. They drove out on the westway, and they vanished in the air. They both went through on the red. That's what Golly said. They both went through on the red. One a little after, one a little before. They both went through on the red. You can't hear their laughter this side anymore. They both went through on the red. Now they're forever ahead. Thank you. I was in a treatment centre recently for junkies and alkies and things, and poets. We spent a lot of time analysing why the various ways we try to kill ourselves and why. And we went into a lot of family history. I wrote this next one just at the point when I decided that it was all Daddy's fault. Because, you see, Daddy was a sex addict. He taught me all I know. He taught me how to net my fish and then to let her go after taking just one bite. I don't do it out of spite. It's really all I know. I honestly adore them. I beg them and implore them. I love them up. I share their cup. And then I have to go. Sorry, babe. If you need me, I can't be free. I really have to go. It's time to move on. Find another one. Another lover is never enough. I need more of the stuff. Each flashing smile, each honey slow hello, opens the door for me on Marilyn Monroe. Standing there on the topmost stair, opening her coat of fur for me, sliding it slowly from her shoulder. She says, hey, you're looking older, but welcome home, big boy. Home is the cunt that's taking me in. Home is the cock inside me. Marilyn Monroe's letting me win, spreading her coat beside me. Thank you. This last one came to me in a dream, actually. I've always been interested in dreams, but in this one I could actually hear the voice saying it, so I had to write it down on a napkin when I woke up. I remember actually as I was asleep saying, well, that's a line from Van Morrison, we can't use that, but I left it in anyway because I couldn't think of anything else. It's called She Was a Creature He Met in His 29th Year. He was stunned in the neck by her beauty. He wooed her with photos of jazz musicians. He met her eye on an album cover, and her hair was white in the glare of the light, and she laughed as they came together while others slept upstairs. Her hair was white in the heat of the night, and she laughed as they came together while others slept upstairs. He kissed her when she left the room, in case they never should meet again. Count Basie played in a minor key. And this bright young man, with the light in his eyes, you'd scarcely notice him now. He turned his chariot down my street and rode away from what he had lost. As he raises the bread to his mouth, the gentle wind from the south blows the leaves for her departure. Wake with the taste of her sweet on the lips. In the sad early morning she's gone. A patchwork dream covers the world. Button black night with his flag unfurled. On sleepers spread eagled on a rolling globe. Never to awaken till the dream unfolds. Thank you.
Mortimer, yes. I enjoyed that. It took me back to the days of my, well, not exactly youth, but when I was a bit younger. I was walking down the Charing Cross Road. I didn't want to walk down the Charing Cross Road.
Want to get a cab?
I did want to get a cab. I was in a cab. I had to get out of the cab because we couldn't get down the Charing Cross Road. It was full of Brazilian football supporters. And I wasn't particularly pleased about this, and I was looking a bit miserable. And then I got to the other end of the Charing Cross Road, Trafalgar Square, where people were going mad. And somebody came up to me and said, "Hey you, why you look so unhappy?" And I said, 2 reasons. First of all, this morning when I got back to my little flat, it had been burgled, ransacked, there was piss and shit all over the walls with Gideon Vein sacks and things. I wasn't particularly happy about that. And all that was left was a little cheap answering phone machine. And I turned it on. There was one obscene message telling me how vile someone thought I was. And I was the worst compere in all of London. Because I indulge myself. And I have sex with the women who do to do. But this is untrue. Totally untrue. Everyone knows I'm a mirror masturbator. Always have been. It's the only person who really turns me on. That fellow in the mirror, he's quite good looking, but not quite as good looking as myself. He's the wrong way round. But then another message came. My parents were long livers, us Veins. 207 have both been killed on the M1 with another loved one. So I said to this man, "Why then shouldn't I look unhappy?" And he said, "Well, my friend, that is unfortunate, but Brazil have just won the World Cup." Arriba! Brazil! I mean, everyone's going mad because a football team have won the World Cup. If only they could put that kind of energy into something a little more positive. Because it's the happiest day of my life, my friend. Brazil, I won the World Cup. How is it going to change your life? Don't think about that, my friend. What's the matter with you? You're so unhappy just because all of you and people have been killed. Brazil, I won the World Cup. For you, my friend. I get a t-shirt. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. And he comes and gives me a Brazil t-shirt and asks me, Sir Gideon Vein, I always have this face, to jump up and down in a fountain. Then he says to me, say, Brazil. No, Brazil. Brazil. So on the way home I started, Brazil. And then I go mad. Everyone. For the last 2 weeks I've been walking on the streets going, Arriba! Brazil! And yesterday I went down to a monstrous pub in the East End of London where some man said, "Louis, do you know Django? He's fucking dangerous." So I haven't actually had a pleasure. Oh, I had a crack once. And I said, "You're fucking on the right." And he said, "No, I ain't." And he broke it on my head for all the fucking claret coming down. And then I'm so off. I said, "What? Can't you think about beauty, my friend?" My hands. You must be one of the British cunts who move your fucking life. But, my friend, doesn't mean anything, this. I thought that you and I had a tie. I thought there was a bond. What? Oh, what? What is it with the faces? You fucking humdrum. What is this? It's easy. It's easy to mock the working classes. That's why I go there. Not to mock. Because I feel sorry for them. And I feel that I, Sir Gideon Vein, can enrich their lives. I shan't give up. I don't need an appreciative audience. Just shout me a new funny man, ain't ya? Go and look at yourself in the mirror, my friend, because that is a hideous joke. Look at your... Can't you try to laugh like me? My laugh is full of games, full of frivolity. I know your lot isn't a good one, but you've heard the sad story of my life and the 14-pound sledgehammer. And compared to my lot, yours isn't too bad. Some people even think you're handsome. But I indulge myself too much, all at your expense. Do you remember that story when somebody came in and said, "You're all right, aren't you, chum?" Chum? Chum? I am not, dog. I don't eat chum or kennel meat. Don't be funny, chum. You're in it for the money, aren't you? In it for the money? Who are you, Johnny Mills' son? An actor or something? You're in it for the money, aren't you, chum? I mean, do you really think I'd do this were I in it for the money? I sold out years ago. Years and years and years ago. When the man with the gold rings came. He had a ring on every finger. And he said to me, "Wouldn't you like to be wearing these?" I said, "They wouldn't fit me." Not on these hands. And then I thought once again, "Oh, come on. Pick a bird. Pick a bird. This one or that one. Well, I'll get you another one. But either way, pal, I'm your agent." Go away. Go away, you vulgar man. You wouldn't believe how many well-known comedians are working for him now. All sold their souls for 30 pieces of silver nitrate. But not Sir Gideon Vein. When I go to the Elephant and Castle job centre, why can't I get a pension? I am an old man, but still not. I put my name on the dotted line as I'm mocked, and someone pisses up the back of my leg. I say, "Do you know who I am?" He's 50 pence. Here, have a pound. Have yourself a ball. And I feel proud, because I know at the end of the day, I can hold my head up high. Never will I sell myself. That's why I am the proud man you see before you now. A parade.
It's called Old Blues Lyric. Sweet Jesus laid him down on an ample feather bed. He surely was a tired boy now, on account of the blood he had shed. I didn't think one thing to the stain that he left on my sheet. They say that man's blood does endure, and I say that Jesus is sweet. Sweet is a funny old word that means nothing but something to me. Sweet was the kiss that I gave, and sweet was the kiss he gave me. But was he alive when he kissed? And was it a real thing I felt? And am I alive to tell this? Or is this a holler from hell? There was a very fine 19th century poet called John Clare, who was incarcerated in an asylum in Epping, and he decided to walk all the way back to Helpston in Cambridgeshire in order to try and find a wife that he'd never in fact married. And this poem is called The Flight. To be and to seem to be messily undone is a cue to shed all forms of borrowed footwear and to turn and to run into the forest of Epping, where John Clare sleeps on his back. Cornstalks piercing his eardrums, dreaming of wives he has lacked. Take that man's hand, heave him upright, unless as two beasts you must go, dreaming of poems, wives, flower garlands that hang from the neck, chill as snow. This is a poem about the way in which we're tyrannized over by facts. It's called The Eye is Instrumental. Odorless, pure, incorrigible facts assail me of a morning when I act to clear the rubbish from the pipes downstairs. They come between the action and the prayer. What do I pray? That I might simply be the fully human vessel I call me. Nothing extraneous, nothing too untoward. A single shaft of light that pours and pours. One of the difficulties of reading in this venue is that people never stop talking when you're reading. All the poets have experienced this, and especially the first one who was very upset by this fact. Be very grateful for my own sake and for the sake of people who read later, if people could stop talking now and listen for a few minutes. I'll just continue that poem. And then the facts breeze in, so tidy, small and good, asking me why I thought I'd understood the nature of the person with the name that corresponds to mine. Was I insane? Is that a question to be asked of me? Had they seen in the minstrel's gallery that constitutes the space behind my eyes? Those broken-necked guitars, that stricken drum, and amidst those pale cold limbs, that fife? Poets are very fond of writing poems, as novelists are interested in writing about novel writing, in order to try and define the nature of the poem and the nature of the novel, I suppose. This poem is called The Special Relationship with the Poem. In order to fall in love with a poem, you must first enter into the spirit of its special circumstances. There is nothing worse than to be ill-dressed for an occasion, epauletted when bangles or a beard are to the point, bewoggled when the Milanese silk tie is the only proper form. Every poem is like a love story on its day. On other days, approach it sidelong, wistfully, as if all time might slip away unnoticed in some Florentine pensione. Lambrettas stretch farting in the streets below. By now, you have come to the tall, forbiddingly baroque preface of the poem. Yes, words have eased into a fitful flow. In order to fall in love with a poem, you must take the measure of its and your style. Are you circumlocutorily Jamesian today? Do you measure inches by the mile? Do not be dismayed by the sight of a high cairn of words. No poem reaches further than the dimensions of your dictionary. Shake that dictionary out onto your lap and reassemble them all until you have it, apt, expectant, fully formed, the perfect mirror likeness of that very poem which had thought to have you in its thrall. You yourself are as tall as your neighbour's poem. You are its covert subject matter in little. You are its all. This poem is about the problems that I have with coming to terms with words that have been coined since about 1968. It's called The Ancient Travails of the Wordsmith. So many old words living obscure lives, without even a wish to shame the streets into acknowledging their enterprise, their youthfulness. Once Rwanda, the country, has turned itself upside down like a bottle, and what has spilled out has been blood. This poem is called My Girl Rwanda, and it's a ballad. My girl Rwanda, squatted by the fire, tossing in the little logs, make the flames go higher. Where has Mummy gone today? Where has Daddy been? Why is he sitting in the dark, hand propping his chin? Soon it will be night again. Soon the goat man come, with a tinkle of his bell. Then the children run. But we don't run out today. Daddy say, stay in. Be no goat man hereabout. Storm is rolling in. But there is no black up there, neither sound of rain. Blueness, blueness all the day. Sunlight, plain as plain. Still he say, don't you go out. You just build a fire. So I squat me here and watch flames go jumping higher. Now the water steaming hard. Water in the tub, squatting on the flaming fire. Soon I rub and rub. Daddy, bring the kangas here. Toss them in the tub. Rwanda, wash the stains away. See me rub and scrub. This penultimate poem has a reference to a fire grate. I must explain that this fire grate was situated in a house where I was born in northeast Sheffield, 45 Coningsby Road. The poem is called The Fire Grate. The furthest corners of a man's pent disposition are filled with the stench of imperfect half-thinkings, the means to achieve, as yet uninvestigated, with the thoroughness they scarcely deserve. The futile habits of failure, perfectly balanced and oiled, and available for use at any given moment of a sultry noontide. And all this, if desired, may be bunched up into a very small space, until it resembles something akin to a fistful of crumpled newspaper, certainly fit enough to stuff another man's small and indifferent fire grate. This final poem is by way of a tribute to the most powerful family of adhesives known in this country. I am the earliest and the unworldliest of all known gummers, adhering to the cloth that adheres to my flesh are 1,000 fluttering strains of variegated piety. No matter in which direction I may choose to go, it is always forwards and always indomitably so. I am also the last, if not the least, of all gummers. The pesticides, those gnat-like swarms of pinkish irritants, are ripping out our throats. Clouds are beginning to settle upon the most exceptionable of our ranging ambitions. Other animals seem to be flowing more easily, more dream-sequentially toward that taut tape. The blades of sunlight that fall refracted through my ferociously small lenses render the thigh bones arthritic and inject a strange pallid lightness into the cathedral choir school voice that has, since my earliest recorded emissions, been my most golden glory. Who shall rescue me? Speak now, from the continuing travails of this ever-present self. Who shall renew this head of mine?
Oh, be sure, it shall not be forgot. by its phantom chased forevermore, by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth into the self-same spot. And much of madness, and more of sin and horror, the soul of the plot. But see amid the mimic rout, a blood-red thing in truth. It rises, it rises, it rises from out the scenic solitude, and flapping from out its condor wings. I can't go on. I shall have a heart attack. Vincent, wherever you may be, I hope I did you and Carol proud. I did it for you. For you, Vincent, it worked. I don't know why, but Mr. H.P. Lovecraft didn't. Strange, isn't it, how tastes change? The next act, Mr. Gary Lowe. Gary Lowe, yeah!
I have to acknowledge first the influence of Sir Gideon. We once spent 12 months of 24-hour remand in a cell. Sir Gideon was in for indecent exposure, and I was being fitted up by the Metropolitan Police, as all black men are. However, unfortunately, because I am not a great actor, as the Baronet himself, I have to read from a script. I hope you don't mind.
As long as we will, dear boy.
I hope you don't mind. Let's get this over and done with. I apologise for my party speaking in front of the last poet. You know, we have not had the benefit of an independent education. This one is called So This Is It, and it's, well, in fact, I always read it, in fact, because I think it's the best one I've ever written. However, it's about going to a party, one of Sir Gideon's, of course, and me finding myself on the floor. So here we go. So this is it. Friday, fell down and hit the floor that was always too far down, as always. Like a black spot, crumbled circle, I span around and around, doing nothing. In a tautological drunkenness, I justified and self-justified that which needs no justification. It just is. Didn't take long, a second maybe before I hit. A short second, shorter than average, that is of no consequence. Time, I mean, is of no consequence. Not here on the floor with the noise of boots walking over me, and the metaphoric annihilation only in the mind. Relax, can't complain, mea culpa always, ne'er misses a magazine, sex and sensuality. Of these things I have no complaints. I admit nothing. I give my name and number only. Here I found my calling, that which God has assigned me. A square floor, a square room, in a squares party. Not Sir Gideon, of course. Somewhere in the bullshit side of a bullshit city in a decaying Europe. The city does not matter. The noise, the women, the knock at the door, the hashish, the cocaine, the sound of a razor dragged across the skin does not matter. The carpet is thick and the floor is flat. It has no surprises. It welcomes us. Succumb to it. Make love upon it. It's egalitarian. It's reality all in itself. Maybe the only hard clarity on the Saturday night. Or was it Friday, Saturday morning, in her arms, helping me to be sick, taking me home, loving me. A man in my condition and still loving me. Stupid, stupid woman, women, girl. Her bed or my bed, nighttime or daytime. Am I spinning? Is it me that spins? Or is it her room, her face revolving, turning, distorted, ugly, wonderful, mine? Or is it only the smoke rising from my cigarette, forming images out of smoke? I wave my hand and behold, a trick of light, a whim of mine, nothing, no matter. I'm on the floor and I say to myself, it's time to get up. Time to get up and get out. Time to get up, to leave, to remove myself. Time, but not just yet. Not now. This is not 1936. This is not a call to action. This is not Spain, Vietnam. This is not napalm burning, no great cause. This is not comrade in arms under a wartime blitz. This is not nationalism. This is not Britain. This is not London, Paris, Berlin. This is not 1968. This is not Cuba. I am not Dionysus, Apollo, Jesus Christ. I don't vote communist. I don't pray to God. I never shoot it up. This isn't heaven or hell, brother. This is the floor. This is Sir Gideon's party. And this is it.
Yeah.
Another one if I may. If it's possible.
Yes, it is, yes.
This is about when I left the remand centre. Sir Gideon was doing his last 6 months of his sentence, but I was let out into the open free air. And as soon as I was on that London, in fact it was a Rochester to London train, I penned down this poem on an old Beck's leaflet. Here we are. It's called Thieves See the Sun and Laugh, because I was a thief then, before I came a literati. It rhymes, but I don't like rhymes. Anyway. It's dawn and the gates are flung open. It's dawnlight, the boys wander home. Back to the city's jagged perspectives, its monotonous slab black drone. The boys drink on the trains to London and say, but Christ, I'm free. To them our estates are Elysium. The streets, the text of the streets, their poetry. It's dawn and the boys shout freedom. Where can your limit be? Is it the ghost I saw on the horizon? The ghost I was sure was me. At night I've dreamed times aplenty, where with Bacchus I was wild and stoned. But that's nothing to the cry to the balcony. Boys, I'm going home. And to some the full mouths are waiting, and to some cars of silvery chrome, but to most it's back to the thieving, to beg, borrow, steal, postpone. The thieves they laugh in the morning and say, I did my time alone. Alone I beat each day strip jopping. London, I'm coming home. It's freedom the boys steal greedily. Freedom's the meaning of gold. Whoever has freedom has money, for it's freedom that's bought and sold. Yet look at the dawn sun shine madly. Look at the women with their astonishing clothes. By Christ, I'm Lazarus, alive and kicking. I'm Orpheus, back from the underworld.
Yeah!
This one is about my local South London park, Brookwell. Never travel there by night. However, if you're in the day, you may see a tramp digging for food in the, what do you call them, dustbins. However, the tramp has a vision in Brookwell Park. From nutritious half-eaten fruits, abandoned in the afternoons, light falls in sinuous gallons. The taste of the light is a brook gushing names by their billions. The fruit translates the code of all there is. The worm of my mouth bites with vicious teeth from the succulence of ours, and the words, they melt at my fingertips. The milk of the second passes, burns, aches, seduces, clings moist like a flimsy sheet. In the name of the world I spin fetal, wrapped in the juice of the days, dripping constant. I drown in muscular spasms, choking on the fruit's flesh, wet and sweet, that others have abandoned in the afternoons. Two more if I may. Didn't like that one, did you? Alright. Sound different, like, do you know what I mean? Hold on. This is about no one in particular. It's called Myself, I'm Unconvinced. It's about amphetamine as it goes, which if you want any, come and tweet to me. £10 a gram, it's a cheap man's drug. Anyway. Susie converted to speed as a pick-me-up, but I never put her anywhere significant. Around the corner, We Need More myths were sprayed haphazardly across the ritzy cinema. Now they want more of anything. Now they want to dine on mysteries. I've been writing the notes of birdsong in a book. I have been plotting the stars dot to dot. I sent them to Susie. She lives at number 11 Judas Road. They say that she doesn't want to be touched, which she associates with defilement. How could I convince her otherwise, not being convinced myself? I sent her the silky fur of the underdog, which I killed as a pity. I showed her the symbols of my craft, words and letters arranged into rubies. But to her, this was not enough. And quite frankly, I grew tired of her purity, her English purity, as if her auto-tragedy surpassed all the grief in China. But now she's high in art, dialectics, speed. They say she won't come out, that she hates the world. How could I convince her otherwise? Not being convinced myself. One more. This one's called Seduction. I went to a place called the Vox in Brixton, which they have this sort of S&M night, and I'm always interested in looking at the anthropological things of the world. Anyway, there was all these leather bitches and men and their tits out and their crutches. Well, whatever, you know, and it wasn't much of a go into it. Anyway, they was all in there, like, being cool and English and talking about crap with their leather. Anyway, I just penned this poem after that night out. I'm not S&M guy, though I wanted to be. Anyway, this is called Seduction. I was too quick to dismiss the uneducated kiss of lovers fucking in alleyways. Did she break the lamplight with the heel of her shoe? Did he cover their heads with his flea market jacket? Did he protect her from the rain? Because it's always raining on lovers trying to fuck in alleyways. But I couldn't disapprove, and for a moment I bear witness to the alchemy, how beautifully the music of their voices on the air, mocking the rain, mocking despair, has turned what was once a shit-filled alleyway into a place beyond all compare. I was too easily impressed by the orgiastic images of women with nipples pierced, wrapped in leather, their riding crofts thrust into a boot, or listlessly held inside a glove, all of the above. And more, those women being all freaky in Nazi chic, the great contenders, all stocking arse, suspenders, eyes obligatory black or ochre Egyptian, their lips brutality read by the same convention, they adopt the super shiny, super smooth sophistication. This terrible beauty of angels dressed in black may be immaculate, yet after the orgy is over, when thought turns away from rubber and leather, all they can talk about is the weather. I was taken unaware. To tell the truth, I was lost. I opened every door, took every stair, till one led down into the garden. Blazing sun was a cloud in the sky, and there was you, under the cypress, drinking wine, reading something, I know not what, playing with your hair, and I just knew. Now my erotica is your voice, the colour of your hair, the line of your nose. These things I've written down in a book, your every quaver, double cleft, every crotchet, but I still cannot mimic all your music. It has become my chief opium. You are the more raw material of my delirium. You are the object of my seduction. Thank you very much.
He was a charming soulmate. I was walking along in Brixton the other day, like this, and a car screeched to a halt. I got worried, and then two policemen got out. And of course, I felt safe. You're always safe in the arms of the law. And they both looked at me. And one of them, I heard him say this, and this is what really hurt me. He looked at me and he said, "Nata." You see, why I was particularly annoyed, I mean, I've been nutter before, it doesn't worry me, but he was emulating a certain man who's been on television, you know, the one who ran off with Keith Allen's wife and 3 children. And I hate people emulating him. He's not like that, he does a very poor imitation of a Cockney. My own Cockney is excellent. But, you know, I said that isn't even original, officer. Honey boy, you go in the bag. I said, no, it isn't really any of your business. I'm a good taxpayer. Let's have a look in the bag. This was the very bag. So, what do you think's in it? Let's have a look. Book of poetry. Yeah. No, someone just gave me that, threw it on the floor. A sign, I said, and then he trod on it. And I just said, what'd you say? What'd you say? I just said, you wasn't at my school, we wouldn't suck at people like you at my school. What's this? My ex-wife. These are the kind of things I always